Hello, and happy Saturday. Here we are again, back on the beautiful Sunshine Coast where I record this from my studio. Outside, the wind is blowing. It is winter here, and there are so many things I want to talk about today because we're on our next episode. Our new episode today is 6 ways that science, I love science, data obviously, shows that nutrition can help anxiety. That is your anxiety. It's also your child's anxiety. And it's actually really the 6 tips that I have for you. They balance your mind, your body, and your spirit, because I'm all into holistic approach. I'm also, as much as we can, into a natural approach for anxiety, as much as that's possible. And sometimes it is not. So I'm not absolutely against, hang on, let me put this. I'm not absolute against medications, but that would be the last resort. And if you need to be on anxiety medication, then I would use that as a short-term solution to find other solutions that work better for you and that are more natural. All right, let's dive in. So if you watch this on my YouTube channel, hello, I see you. Please leave me a good review. If you see this on anywhere, or if you hear this on anywhere of the podcast channels where you can get the Susanne McAllister podcast. And otherwise, I'm having a raffle. A prize to give away. So it's the middle of June. I've got 2 more coaching sessions with me, discovery sessions to give away. So if you're interested in having an hour coaching with me, it's not a sales call, it's an hour coaching where you're going to get clear on your next steps and things that I might point out, and we're going to create a proper plan for you about what's been going on and your next steps forward. So I've got 2 of these to give away in the next 2 weeks. There's 1 a week that I can do with my schedule. So if you're interested, send me your email, just DM me or PM me or anything else that I see. Send me a message on Instagram and just say competition, and you get into the raffle for to win 1 of these sessions. All right. Also, I'm very excited because my Audible book, As She Spreads Her Wings, came out a week ago. You can see this here. So this is kind of cool. I kept it for under an hour. So it's a quick read. It's up there for $6. So for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can change a person's life, a young person's life, and you can gift this to somebody, listen to it yourself. It's kind of very, very amazing. So this is As She Spreads Her Wings. That's my guide to life, healthy relationships, discovering yourself and the world around her, dreaming big and charting a path to a truly inspirational life. I would really recommend this for any teenage girl. So as I say, $6 on Audible. They can download it to their phone and they can listen to it. It's kind of super cool. All right, enough of that. Let's get into how food and nutrition can help your child with anxiety. Just getting my notes here. Can help your child with anxiety, can help you with your anxiety, and it's a good way to do a little bit of a haul over about what's going on in your kitchen and how you can help. What's happening with my tech here? I have to turn it this way or this way. Let me just get this here. So one of the things I want to talk about, gathering nutrition. So actually some of the statistics are that 1 in 8 children have a diagnosable anxiety disorder. And actually affects more than 20% of the population. But, you wouldn't be listening or watching the channel if you wouldn't know that and if that wasn't a concern in your life. So I am not a doctor. I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a mindfulness teacher. Also a trained yoga teacher, near mindfulness, somatic movement. So I learn everything and anything that has to do with natural anxiety solutions, and then I share them here. I have a coaching program that I'm launching on the 1st of August for parents of children with anxiety, and also for you if you have anxiety, the tools and tricks that I've been using in my private practice for decades. All right, here we go. All right, so today I want to talk about six tips, and one of the ones is using food and nutrition and supplements. Although, like, we're going to talk about food next week, we might be talking about supplements. So the first one is to really balance out blood sugar. And I know that's a big one because with anxiety comes either with wanting to eat junk food, like soothing ourselves through food. That might be like fatty things, carb things. For me personally, it's always carbs and breads. That would be like my thing. Potatoes, which nothing wrong with that. Potatoes are very good for you, but this is about not boosting up your blood sugar with lollies or candies or sweets. Actually, there is like the university in Yale did like this very amazing study where they found out that there's a 10-time increase in adrenal levels when children have been eating sugary foods. So which means your anxiety goes like 10 times worse when you sugar yourself up. And so because your elevated adrenal levels make you then feel irritable, cranky, and cause anxiety. So your sugar level goes boo, and you go like wow, and then they go boo, and then you're craving more sugar. So this is the cycle as well that is not very good for you, and it's definitely not very good for anxiety. So we have got natural sugars that happen in our, and I'm not talking about they're eating apples, and natural sugars that happen in your food. I'm talking about added sugars. I'm talking about processed things, cookies, lollies, gummy bears, and all these things. So they create this short burst of energy, and then we crash. And then we have this hyperglycemia where then like we can even get dizzy and can't sleep, we're irritable, and so there's this roller coaster of up and down blood sugar levels. So we have them also in the sugary drinks, and like these energy drinks like Red Bull and Mother and all of these. Oh my God, please chuck them all out. Don't do that at all. So we have them in processed food, we have them in high fructose, corn syrup, table sugar, brown sugar, and white bread, pasta, and rice. So the simple carbs that are in the white floured foods, they turn into sugar straight away, and this is why they hit you up and then they crash you down. That's why you can eat a ton of white rice and you just keep craving it and crave it and craving it. I could eat a whole baguette with not a problem at all, and after that I could still eat, even I thought I'd be like exploding. Some fruit that do spike your blood sugar, like bananas, raisins, because raisins are like really concentrated and high in sugar, pineapples and mangoes. But I'm like whole food. So if you want to eat a mango, if you want to eat a banana, that's not a problem. When you want to eat like a whole bag of lollies and red snacks and things like that, that's where the problem is. So instead of that, we choose complex carbs. They're slow releasing. They keep our blood sugar level. So that's the brown rice. It's the whole grains. It's the potatoes, like the pastas and cereals, vegetables, legumes, and nuts, and fruit like apples, pears, and watermelons. So these are the complex ones. So according to the Mayo, I never know how to say it, Mayo Clinic. So they're the complex carbs. They also increase the amount of serotonin in the brain, and that produces the neurotransmitters that give you the calming effect and helps you soothe your anxiety symptoms. So you're using these instead, and you're like choosing the better options food. So whole plant-based foods. Good idea that. The other thing that we want to do, and lots of you have asked me about this, which one is the best magnesium and how to optimize our magnesium levels. There's magnesium oils, there's magnesium bath that really help with anxiety. And most of us, we actually don't get enough magnesium with our diets because the average intake is only about 250 milligrams per day. But even the RDA, and I'm like, I don't even think that's enough, is between 350 and 420 milligrams for adults. So it plays such a big role in our brain function. It helps a big role in anxiety as well. There's links between neuro, so that the studies published, you want the research here, in the research in the neuropharmacology, the Journal of Psychiatry from Australia and New Zealand. So they have actually researched and found it's not just like a fad or like, yeah, have some magnesium tablets, and like these, the ones that you put in your water and that you can buy at the supermarket, they don't actually, the body does not absorb them well. So magnesium deficiency causes higher anxiety and depression. And when your magnesium levels are taken care of, that elevates your well-being. Okay. So magnesium is the gatekeeper within the brain. It protects like your receptors and protects you from getting too worked up. Yay, so magnesium is amazing. I'm a big fan of Karma magnesium. It's like these magnesium drops. Some of them might sting, and then some practitioners talk about if the magnesium oil stings on your skin, that indicates it's your insufficient magnesium levels. I'm not so sure about that because I tried different brands and some sting and some don't. So I don't actually think that is the truth. But they're really good, like some drops, and I put them at the back of my legs, and they also help you to relax your muscles. So for your child or for you to include magnesium in your diet, we have whole grains, they have magnesium, oats, quinoa, buckwheat. We have seeds like sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds. They're super good. Nuts and legumes like lentils, chickpeas. Then we've got our leafy greens like spinach and kale, these ones, of course, and some herbs like chamomile, peppermint, sage, parsley, and nettles. They're also high in magnesium. And fennel seeds, cayenne pepper, although most children, they don't like, their food too spicy. Paprika and fenugreek. So fenugreek is used a lot in Ayurvedic practices. They use fenugreek tea as well, which is very good, but it has a little bit of this bitter aspect. And the tip number 3 that we want to do is we want to support the neural growth and development of, I can never say that, polyphenols. So this is for our healthy brain. That's the blueberries and the strawberries, blackberries and raspberries. So all these berries are amazing, but if they're not organic, it might be counterproductive, because if they've been treated and if they've been radiated and if they've been sprayed with all sorts of pesticides, then that's not really helpful, because that causes anxiety and has so many other side effects. So we want our berries to be organic. And plums, cherries, apricots, pomegranates, very, very good in polyphenols. That's how you say it. All right. So vegetables like artichokes, artichoke heart, spinach, broccoli, flax seeds again, chestnut. Here it's like chestnut season. I love chestnuts because when I lived in Spain, we knew it was winter when you'd go, and like there was like always somebody, like an old man where we lived, and he had like his little tent and a coal fire, and he would roast the chestnuts, and you'd be queuing up and speaking to the neighbors in my very broken Spanish, and we'd just be there, and that was like, it was winter now, and I just love this. Black beans as well, so the dark skin, so if the fruit and the berries have the dark skin, then the higher that is, so that's really, really good. Black olives also. So they really help well to balance and to keep your anxiety down. We want to repair our neural damage. So that is what's going on in your brain. And sometimes anxiety really feels like your brain is getting fried and microwaved. There's just so much fear. There's so many thoughts all at once, the shallow breath, the this, and it just feels like that. And, like for somebody who's been managing her anxiety for so many years, that's how I became the anxiety queen, the anxiety expert, because I've been managing my anxiety since I studied psychotherapy, since I found out that I have anxiety, because as you know, I did not know that was a thing. All right. So how do we repair our neural damage? So that's the omega-3 fatty acids. They are like a powerhouse. And there's a study of clinical psychiatry that concluded that omega-3 have a protective effect on the brain, and that's what we really want. So there is two omega-3 fatty acids, the DHA and the EPA. So they both play an important role in your brain health, but EPA has an anti-inflammatory effect, and that's what we really want, because our over anxiety and the fear and the stress of our body causes inflammation, which then causes long-term damage to our cells. This is why stress can kill you. I'm not saying anxiety can kill you, but like high volume of stress can have a lot of negative effects on your health in the long term. This is why it's important. It's not anxiety, oh yeah, well, you'll be fine. It's really, we need to deal with this. We need to have effective and holistic ways. So EPA is in a lot of really good foods, flax seeds and flaxseed oil. So just make sure, because flax seeds, they go rancid really quickly. So I keep like flax seeds in the fridge, and then every week I mill them up. I have a little NutriBullet, and I mill them up. I have a Thermomix as well, and then I put them in a glass in the fridge, and then I put them onto my porridge in the mornings, and that's very anti-cancerous as well. So Dr. Budwig, she developed like a whole cancer protocol with quark or yogurt with flax seeds, and kind of amazing. So flax seeds, and what comes to mind is obviously the when we hear omega-3 and omega-6, we think about salmon and fatty fish and things like that. If you want to watch a very good documentary that's super sad and that will open your eyes about what's going on with the fish industry, watch Seaspiracy. I can only highly recommend that. So I used to be pescatarian, and I try to avoid fish. So I'm whole food plant-based. Right now, I'm more flexitarian. So if you ever see me eat a steak somewhere, don't judge, because I've kind of listened to my body, what's going on. But it's very, very, very rarely, like once a year, I'm like, I think I'll need that, and then I'll eat it. Otherwise, I'm whole food plant-based, and that really, really works well for me. So the problem with lots of fishes is the contamination, the high mercury, and then also the way it's farmed and the way we're destroying the environment. So yeah, watch Seaspiracy. They can explain it really well to you. We have tofu and miso that is full of the EPAs, and we've got walnuts. So the good foods, like when we see a food that looks like something, like a walnut, if you look at the shape that looks like a brain, then that actually, you could say that it actually has like really good fatty oils in there that are good for your brain. Same like when you cut a beetroot and you actually see it looks like a heart. So that's what beetroot is very good for the blood and for the heart. So we've got vegetables like pumpkins, broccoli, and especially broccoli sprouts. They are the best. They're the powerhouses in cancer prevention, prostate even. Not that that might be a thing in preventing anxiety for children and yourself. But yeah, green beans and fruit like strawberries and raspberries. And so Tip number 5 is about reducing stress and reducing cortisol and stress hormones in your body. And that's what happened to me like years ago when I completely burned out. My cortisol levels were crazy high. I thought I was menopausal. I had my hormones tested, but it was all about my stress. I was stressed to the max and I didn't even know it. I thought it was just normal, like I'm high functioning, and I ran around like a crazy chicken. Everybody else could see it. I did not see it. So when when our cortisol levels are high from too much stress, that really, of course, when we're stressed, our anxiety levels are high up there and we're not functioning well. We're accident prone, can't sleep. It causes blood sugar and insulin levels to spike, then they crash. So then our what we crave for food becomes super unhealthy, and it's a vicious circle. And over time, it may lead to like increased appetite, weight gain, water retention in our ankles, and also depending on sugar, because you even hear people like, yeah, I need to sugar myself up, I need to sugar this and sugar that. It's like, no. What we want to do is to de-stress. We want to have natural foods. So if they grow somewhere, so if they're like natural, if they don't come out of a package, if they actually grow in the field, if they grow in the garden, if they grow somewhere, then it's a natural food. So let's say if God made it, if you believe in God, or if nature made it, then it's a natural food. And some of the foods, you can't even recognize them what they are. If you look at the back of the package, you won't even know like all the things they have to put in there to make them taste. And all of these things, they actually play a role, and they play havoc with our anxiety and with our bodies, because if it's not a natural food, it's not meant to be in your body. So chuck them out. And also like the simple carbs, as I said before, the white bread, white pasta, all of these things, they also really aggravate your blood sugar, and your stress levels are higher. Then we have coffee. So I have here a bulletproof coffee though, which is kind of nice, and I kind of love this. It has MCT oil in there. It's an organic, and I make it myself. I have it 1 cup a day. And so you have to be really careful with caffeine when you have anxiety. I do love a cup of coffee one day, but sometimes it causes me anxiety depending where I get it. I know which brands are good or which cafes work for me. And if I'm super stressed, the last thing I'm going to have is caffeine. I'm going to have herbal teas that calm me down. So also some children, they consume so much caffeine they don't even know it, because a lot of parents don't actually know that, like in the iced teas like that they buy, they sometimes have double the amount of caffeine, and it's in a cup of coffee, and you think, oh, it's just an iced tea for my child, it's peach or lemon, that can't be bad, but it is. So it's really important also to learn what's in there as well. So the sugary drinks that we consume, don't do that. Like, learn to love teas, herbal teas, fruit teas. My beautiful goddaughter just sent me a care package for my birthday, which was kind of cool. It had all these amazing teas like mango and apple and cherry and rooibos vanilla. And so I'll very much love that. So make sure that you don't consume caffeine. And so to help our neurotransmitters, because there's so many triggers that we can have with anxiety, and often we have low levels of GABA, and that's a neurotransmitter that has a calming effect. So I would do amino acid therapy. I prescribe some supplements to help with anxiety and with moods. And the GABA is like the is like the brain's peacemaker in a way. That's the amino acids. They're really good. They produce them in the body. And when levels are too low, then we can have anxiety, stress, and can't sleep. And we can also feel rather low. So low GABA levels might be caused by not having enough vitamin B in your blood, not having enough manganese or zinc, not sleeping enough. It's kind of a bit of me. Chronic pain, some illnesses cause you to deplete in GABA. Chronic stress, too much caffeine, and heavy metal exposure. So it's always very a good idea to really get your levels tested to see what's going on. So that's a very good idea when you have anxiety or when your child suffers from anxiety, to figure that bit out as well. If that's the case, you can add some more foods into your child or into your diet that help. So we have almonds, then we have peanuts and lentils, bananas, citrus fruits, broccoli and spinach, brown rice, oats, and grains that are really good for your GABA production. So it's always also important to talk to your child about and help them with the food choices that they make. So you can prepare food together. You can learn about how to be healthier. It's a good idea to go into the kitchen with your child and teach them some food skills, and even how to make a good smoothie, and to plant some things. So when they're like, and go to the farmer's market if you can, and let your child be proactive in the things that they choose, because research has actually shown when your child is little, before often we have spoiled their palate with the things that we feed them. So at the beginning, when the child starts to eat solids and we give them let them have the carrot sticks and the cucumber sticks and the celery sticks, they actually choose these things. I remember when my girls grew up, although they'd say I would be super extreme with and super healthy, but my girls are really healthy, which is so good. And they both appreciate a variety of food. We lived in Spain then, so it was like we went to the market and we tried everything. And they used to snack on olives, when they were little. And for when they were teething, I'd have big carrot sticks that they could munch on to help them teething. All right, so these were 6 tips today. Foods that can help your anxiety and your child's anxiety. So some things to think about, and to have a little thought about how you can increase magnesium, how you can increase the fresh fruit and veggies, how you can introduce them more into your child's diet and into your own diet. So I hope that was helpful for you. So how I work with people is, I not only do I use therapeutic tools on them, I use breathing, I use meditation. I also go further into triggers. I use my inner connection process, where we actually travel back into where things started, and then we release things and patterns. So I work with them really holistically. So I work with that's the mind, and I also work with the body to support them with the right food and also the right supplements. So I can prescribe supplements and help them to get supplements into the body, and movement, and happiness and the joy. How do we get the joy and the happiness and the purpose into the life? And parents also come to me because I help a little bit with parenting, because it's very, very hard these days to parent and to know what to do, especially with screen time and social media and pressure that we're all feeling right now, and the fear about the pandemic luring around the corner. So there's lots and lots of anxiety enhancing outer world influences that we need to work harder even to get our inner balance right. And so this is how I work with people one-on-one, and in my coaching program that comes up on the 1st of August, I'll be launching that. So if you're interested to work with me, if you want to know more, just go onto my website, SusanneMcAllister.com. That's SusanneMcAllister, or, the Susanne McAllister podcast, SusanneMcAllister.com. Just go onto my website and subscribe to any of the video series there. So that I have like a free video series where you, for over the next few days, get some of my best tips and tricks how to reduce anxiety. And then you're on my mailing list, and you'll be like one of the VIP people that can get into my program. I have a limited number of places. And also, don't forget, you can PM me if you're interested in winning one of the 2 free coaching sessions with me within the next 2 weeks. All right, that was it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I have another client now, and I'll be putting on my fireplace. I'm so excited about that I can have my open fire. All right, have a beautiful weekend, and I'll speak to you next week. And so long. Goodbye.